All right, so this is going to be a review of the final episode, the finale episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I said I wasn't going to review any more of it, but it's over now, and I did watch it, and I kind of do have something I want to talk about with it. So, whatever. I did watch episode 4 and 5. The last video I did was on episode 3. And episode 4 was trash. Even people who were liking the show up to that point started to turn on it because it's an episode of nothing. I mean, it's them having to rescue Leia because she got captured off screen, and it's just whatever ridiculousness we can do to have that happen. We meet some of the Resistance people and things like that. One of them dies. It's meaningless. um, there's probably the dumbest moment in all of the show in that episode too, where he just has Leia in his coat and he's just sneaking out and nobody's noticing him, even though he has a full beard and all this other stuff. You would pick that up immediately, this room full of stormtroopers, but episode 5 was better. Like, it had these little flashback scenes with Anakin and Obi-Wan. It's supposed to be around episode 2. I think it's before episode 2, though, because I think he still has his arm. And the de-aging is really distracting because I don't think they de-aged Hayden Christensen pretty much at all. So there's that. But it has some of the best choreography of the show. So it's like, hey, I guess there's something there, and fans wanted to see it. It's like, okay, cool. It's a flashback scene. Talia, I think that was her name. She died, and I actually did like that character, so that had a little bit of impact. But yeah, I didn't care about the rest. And then we get Riva, the whole thing where she was a youngling, which everybody could tell or picked up on, and she's trying to kill Darth Vader. It's like, okay, why would you go this far? Become an Inquisitor, kill Jedis, and all this other stuff. And it was to get at Darth Vader, and then you choose this time of all times to attack him. And of course, she gets beaten, and then she gets stabbed. And I guess just like back then, she gets stabbed and survives somehow. And then the Grand Inquisitor's back, and he survived getting stabbed too. So it means nothing to get stabbed with a lightsaber anymore. Um, it just, it's bad. And then you have that convenient, message by Bell Organa about Luke, so that's where she goes in this last episode. Yeah, so even the episode 5 being better, I was like, okay, this is still pretty bad. But we're on episode 6 now, the final one. And so Riva's going around. I don't know how, like, even if she survived that stab wound, she would still need medical attention. I don't think she got it, but whatever. She's there on Tatooine now, looking for Luke. I guess this is set up and payoff, kind of, because she did threaten to kill Owen's family in the first episode, so there's that, but like, it still doesn't really make sense, and she shouldn't be alive, but whatever. And they also want to do a spin-off show, so plot armor. Obi-Wan and Leia, they're still with those resistance fighters, the people that are helping out the Jedi and stuff, and they're trying to get away, but like what they said, I think they said in the 5th episode, their hyperdrive is conveniently broken, so they can't go to light speed and get away. It kind of feels like Last Jedi a little bit. So Obi-Wan has to sacrifice himself again so that they can get away. So he's going to get into another ship or whatever and go off to another planet. And the idea is that Darth Vader and that Star Destroyer are just going to leave the Resistance people alone and only focus on him. Darth Vader could get into a ship and just fly down there and deal with Obi-Wan by himself, because they're going to have a one-on-one fight anyway. And the Star Destroyer could just take out the Resistance fighters, but no, that would make too much sense. The Grand Inquisitor's like, Darth Vader, we can't, and Darth Vader chooses to do it anyway. Like, okay. So they get down on the planet, and they have their fight scene. The fight by itself is pretty good. Like, it's the best, I think it's one of the best fights, if not the best fight in the whole show. I've been complaining about the choreography pretty much since the beginning, but the choreography is actually pretty good here. You can actually see, right? It's not too dark like it was in episode 3, and Obi-Wan is actually competent now. Now, it's the laziest character arc you could ever do, with him being a complete schmuck and can barely hold a lightsaber, and now he's able to take on Darth Vader and beat him. It's like, okay, Darth Vader, who just held down or pulled down a spaceship and ripped it apart last episode, just completely wiped the floor with Riva, but Obi-Wan, after just a few days and barely any development, is like, you know what, I'm competent again. Actually, no, I'm at the top of my game again, and I can just take out Darth Vader. It's like, okay. But yeah, they have their fight. There's a point where Darth Vader is going to bury him with rocks and just walk off. And it's like, why would you do that? After all this, telling the story, the rest of the people in the Star Destroyer, we have to go after him, all this other stuff. You've been so focused in on this. Um, you're just going to bury him with rocks? It's like, well, you guys are Jedis. You guys lift rocks and stuff all the time. Like, why would you do that? Right? He survived you burning him and stuff like that in episode 3. But no, he's going to die to some rocks, which of course he doesn't. But then, Obi-Wan, he fights them and stuff like that. He's throwing rocks at him and things. And Obi-Wan cuts his Darth Vader's mask, and you see Hayden Christensen. You even hear him and stuff like that, which I'm sure was good for the people who like Hayden Christensen or like the prequels. I do not like Hayden Christensen as an actor, really in general, but also in the prequels, so it didn't do anything for me. But I mean, that's a nice, I guess, thing for certain fans. But then there's a point where Darth Vader says a line that I really didn't like.
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
So Darth Vader, I guess, is the reason why Ben Kenobi told Luke that Darth Vader had killed Anakin instead of it. I mean, really, it was because they hadn't really decided that Darth Vader was Luke's father yet, like in real life, like when writing the movies. But the idea was that Ben told him that because he was kind of protecting his feelings or whatever. He didn't want to let him know that his father was Darth Vader in that time. But apparently it was all, I guess, inspired by something Darth Vader said himself. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's that nonsense prequel stuff where you explain or set up things that don't need it from that original work. So I didn't like that. But then it got even worse, where Obi-Wan has beaten Darth Vader. He's got him dead to rights. He went through all this to try to get to him and rematch with him. Best 2 out of 3, I guess. Obi-Wan has gained victory. And he just walks off and is just going to leave Darth Vader to do more evil shit. How irresponsible is that? You could end Darth Vader right here, but you're choosing not to, right? And I guess you're just going to train Luke to do it. It's like, why wouldn't you do it if you're right here with him, right? I'm thinking Obi-Wan's trying to undo what he did, the mistake that he made in Revenge of the Sith, where he didn't finish off Anakin, which was his goal, which was his responsibility. But I guess he's just going to leave him and let him just keep doing stuff and, ruling the galaxy. It's like, okay, that's really stupid. Every interaction with them, it makes this whole thing with them in this show where they're going back and forth with flashbacks and things, makes it feel pointless. So Reva's going after Luke. Owen and Beru are protecting him, shooting at her. Obviously, it's not doing anything. But this is where it really started to hit me. I was like, wow, this is more of a critique of George Lucas in the prequels. But Joel Edgerton, Ewan McGregor, and especially that actress that plays Beru, they are not going to look like they do in A New Hope in 9 years, right? Like, it's completely, they're way too young, and it's ridiculous. So that's a problem with George, but that carries on to this show. So Reva gets past Owen and Beru and goes after Luke. Luke conveniently passes out so that he doesn't see all this, so that he doesn't know about it in A New Hope, because it never obviously comes up. And he seems completely new to lightsabers and the Force and things. So that's the way they stretch that, to still have it not completely, I guess, break continuity. They have Reva decide to not kill Luke because she doesn't want to be like Darth Vader and kill a kid, even after all she's done up to this point. Whatever, she doesn't want to become Darth Vader. So she's good now, I guess, and they're trying to do a spin-off show, so I guess we'll find out what happens with her, but she just kind of leaves. It's like, all right, and Obi-Wan gets there just in time. It's like he knew something was happening. Like, he's rushing and things. It's like, bro, you left Luke for all this time, right? Like, you left your responsibility in the first place. Just for him to leave again to go essentially say his goodbyes, I guess, to Leia and give her droid back, that little toy or whatever. Anyway, and then, once again, they try to kind of fix continuity errors by being like, well, Obi-Wan told Leia, well, you can't tell anybody that we know each other. So that explains why she seems to not know him in the recording in A New Hope. It's like, that still doesn't make sense. Like, all of Alderaan should know. that they have that connection. And uh, when he dies, after all they've been through, whether she's pretending not to know him or not, there would be some reaction to that. But no, there isn't. It's like, okay, it's ridiculous. And the Empire should definitely investigate Bel Organa to be like, wait a minute, why did he come out of hiding all this time just to save your daughters? There's something, what's going on there? There must she must be important in some way. But no, that's not going to come back. And another thing to fix things up is that Darth Vader doesn't go after Obi-Wan again. Knowing he's out there, knowing that he can go after him, and thinks that he's a potential threat because he had just beaten him. Maybe using the Empire's might to fully take him out. Because he talks to Palpatine, who kind of looks weird at the end of this episode, and he's like, "You need to let him go, or let the past go, Vader." And so he's like, "Yes, Master, I serve you," or something like that. So that's to explain why he doesn't go after him again.
Perhaps your feelings for your old master have left you weakened. If your past cannot be overcome,
Kenobi means nothing.
And there's also a point where Ben talks to Luke, but it's off screen. So, he does know of Ben, so it doesn't fully break anything because we didn't get to see the interaction or see just how much he told him or talked to him about. And I guess that's it. Oh no, he does talk to Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost. That's been set up ever since Revenge of the Sith. It's been set up ever since, I think, episode 1 or 2 or something like that of this show. But, oh no, it might have been episode 3. Because I remember at the beginning of episode 3, he was talking about that or trying to talk to Qui-Gon. But, we get it here, but it's just him kind of walking there and be like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you something, Obi-Wan," or whatever. And so it's once again, it feels pointless, just like a lot of this, or really all of it. The main thing I wanted to talk about, and the main reason why I decided to do this, even though I didn't want to, is this episode really put something into perspective for me. And it's that this show is not about anybody, right? People say it's about Reva. No, her story is poorly written and it kind of feels tacked on. It's not about Leia. At a certain point, I mean, she's a plot device. At a certain point, you could forget that she's even in the show. It's not about Obi-Wan or Darth Vader because the Reva stuff undercuts that for a good couple of the episodes. It's not about Obi-Wan. He has like the laziest character arc you could ever have, where he's incompetent one moment and then he's completely competent in like the next episode with no development. So it's not about him either. This was just fan pandering. They just wanted Obi-Wan and Darth Vader to fight again and to bring Hayden Christensen back, Ewan McGregor. They knew that would kill for the fans. And at the end of the day, that's all this is fan service. We need this person with this red lightsaber to clash with this person with the blue lightsaber. Whatever you need to do, whatever characters, whatever story, just make it happen. That's all this ever was. This feels like it's just cheap fan service, and I mean, a lot of people have said this, and I've said it too. It feels like fan fiction. It feels like a fan film. I mean, because that's all it really is. It doesn't really feel like it's an official part of the Star Wars canon. It doesn't feel like it's something that needed to be said or told in any way. It's content for Disney Plus. It's more Star Wars content so that we can kind of, almost grift the Star Wars fans. And that's it. There's nothing meaningful to it. It means nothing. It was completely pointless. I feel like we've all wasted hours of our lives watching this. And so, anyway, that's it. That's the last episode / like, I guess my overall thoughts of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Some people said there might be a season 2. I don't know what you can do there. I don't think he can fight Darth Maul because he fights Darth Maul in Rebels, which is still canon. So I don't know if you would do that again, or I don't know how that would work. But this show should have never existed because Obi-Wan should just stay on that planet. That's what he did, and that's the way it should be. But whatever, we got to get that content out there. So whatever. I'm not as mad. I'm probably not going to name this a rant or anything like that because I'm not as mad as I was with the 3rd episode because it really just puts it all into perspective for me, and it's just like, whatever. Lucasfilm / Disney gonna do what they do, and I'm not even gonna waste my energy getting upset about it, or at least not that upset about it anymore. But yep, that's it, and we're done.